Hello and welcome back to Undefeated. We'll be continuing where we left off on, I guess you could call this round 2, after Zander was introduced to Redline and he also found out that he's basically stuck in this sort of underground MMA fighting thing until they are, able to somehow sort out what's going on with his whole thing, or until he's able to be let go of his contract, which I'm pretty sure is not going to happen. But yeah. So anyways, let's continue and see what happens to poor little Xander. Alright, go ahead and pull. My hand wraps around an elastic band, pulling it gently across my chest, and then returning it back to the side. I repeat this motion a few times, with Drayden holding the other end of the band. How's your shoulder feel? Fine, actually. He takes a sip of his coffee and winces. It smells really sweet. Ow, hot. That's good. You said it was giving you some trouble yesterday. Yeah, it was aching a bit, but I think that was caused by other stuff. What happened? Nothing, just... Bruce did assault me, but I'd rather not bring that up. It's hard to think of an excuse when I'm put on the spot. I can just use Redline as an scapegoat, right? Redline got excited and yanked me around all over the place. He chokes up a laugh into his coffee. That'll do it. I'd had hoped that he'd be a little bit more careful, knowing your situation, but you can't really do much about him once he gets excited. I know how that goes. He tried to talk my ear off the one time we met. But yeah, be careful with that one. You don't need to tell me. Another small laugh from the feline as he takes another sip before setting the cup to the side. He moves behind me, holding my shoulder gently. It's like he's handling some fragile artifact. Can you squeeze your shoulder blades together for me? I follow suit. It's actually a nice stretch back there. I should do this more often. Drayden tilts my head to the left, giving an even better stretch along the right side of my neck. Very good. Any pain at all? Nope. Good. He comes back around to my front, scribbling something down on his clipboard. So, how was your first day? Aside from Red nearly breaking your arm, I mean. I'm trying not to think about a lot of what happened yesterday. Fine. That's all I really wanted to say. There's a bit of silence where Drayden just sort of smiles at me. He takes a drink from his cup of coffee. I guess he's expecting more. Redline showed me around a bit and I met a coach. He was halfway through his drink, but he stopped when I mentioned the coach. Thank you for reminding me. Since I'm discharging you fully today, I've got your coach assignment. Assignment? Drayden nods, flipping a bit through his clipboard. It's just to get you acquainted with how we work down here. You're free to choose different coaches once you made some progress, but it's a good idea to stick with the same one for a bit. I can't really contest that. Coaches work best when they know how their fighters work. The more a fighter changes coaches, the more time the coach has to spend finding the fighter's limits and capabilities. It's kind of a waste of time that you could use training to get stronger. Looks like you've got Coach Bucky. Bucky? Yep, he's a big kangaroo fella. Well, that's a nice coincidence. No, I know. Redline actually introduced us last night. Oh, great! I get more of his students sent my way from the other coaches, so he must be working them hard. Either that, or they aren't learning to dodge too well. Drayden laughs a bit. There's a bit of a silence. Don't tell him I said that. Pay me. No, just kidding. He laughs gently and taps his pen on his clipboard. I appreciate it. I don't think he'd really do anything about it, but I'd rather not get on his bad side. Things are a lot easier when people get along. Especially down here, cooped up in this facility, it can really drive men to do some weird stuff, you know? Cabin fever and all that. I can't help but glare at him. Cabin fever is usually pretty intense, right? I think I saw a movie about it once. Isn't that dangerous? He tilts his head, thinking for a moment. I might have been exaggerating a bit when I said that. I mean, yes, it can be dangerous, but I don't think anyone down here is capable of going insane. Maybe just a bit stir-crazy, that's all. I suppose that's why they give you vacation time. Vacation time? They give us vacation time? Yep, didn't anyone tell you? I suppose you were in medbay for a lot longer than most would have been. It must have slipped through the cracks. Sorry about that. But yes, you're allotted a total of 2 vacation days for every win you get. You can rack them up for enough time for a nice long trip. I could feel my ears fall down. I don't know why I would even want to leave though. Not like there's anything waiting for me above ground. Drayden sort of pauses uncomfortably. Sorry. Knowing your situation makes this all probably pretty depressing. I dart my eyes away. How are you feeling about that, by the way? My eyes narrow and my head droops slightly. I don't answer. I don't know how to answer. I know I know it seems impossible, but I know you can overcome this. Thanks. There's another moment of silence. He's probably trying to find a way to spin this into something positive. Can I talk to the commissioner? Drayden's face freezes up, with his eyes darting down to his clipboard. He starts to shimmy the pen from side to side in his fingers, almost like a nervous tick. That's, I'll see what I can do. I'd wish he'd at least look me in the eyes. I don't say this to discourage you or anything, but it's really hard to get a hold of the commissioner. It would be a good idea to focus on your training right now. He sighs, waiting a second before scribbling something out on another sheet of his clipboard. But I'll do what I can. Thanks. There's a bit of more awkward silence between us. He probably feels bad, but I don't really know what I was expecting. I knew this before coming into this place. I'm the only one that controls what happens to me. Even with this unfortunate circumstance, I have to persevere. There's no point in hoping that other people can save me now. So, I look back at Drayden. Sorry, He clears his throat. This will get figured out. We'll get this figured out. It has to get figured out, one way or another. Thanks. Drayden gives a pleasant smile, scribbling something down in his notebook. Well, if there's nothing else that I can help with, I'd say you're free to go. You can start training too, just be careful, you know? Your ligaments are still newly recovered, no point in breaking them again as so soon. I make my way to the door. Right, I'll do my best. That's all we can do, Alex. I twitch slightly at hearing that name. Slow breath in, slow breath out. Thanks. I don't really feel bad that I had left the medbay in a bit of a huff. Not just the name thing. I could tell him to call me Zander, but he probably wouldn't bother. I'll just be Alex to him. Drayden doesn't need to hear about everything that goes on outside of my medical emergencies. Complaining never got anyone anywhere. The only thing that gets shit done is action. Guaranteed my actions are limited at the moment, but running to Drayden when I get pushed around won't fix this. I'll just look like a kid running to their mommy on the playground. We're adults, even if Bruce acts like a brat, and even if Redline can be childish. Whatever. This will get resolved eventually. I can either win or lose until I die. Drayden was right about one thing. I need to focus on my training. After I left his office, I went straight back to my room, changed into some gym clothes, and made my way down to the gym. Redline was gone, off having breakfast probably. I already had mine before physio. I will say, walking around without an escort is still a little bit strange. Not that I miss Redline or anything like that. I enjoy being alone. I just can't shake the feeling that someone is watching me, like I have to watch my step or I'll do something I'm not supposed to. I can't really pinpoint why it is. Maybe I'm just anxious or maybe I'm traumatized. Probably. Hey, Zander! So much for the silence. Redline pulls up next to me, clapping his hands against my back. It kind of stings. Good morning, man. Morning. He's walking backwards now, facing me as we talk. You were really quiet this morning. I'm usually a light sleeper, but I didn't even notice you were gone. Thanks. I've had a lot of practice sneaking around. How'd you think with Drayden go? Are you clear to fight? Redline narrowly avoids bumping into a rhino who was intensely focused on his phone. Yep, and you should probably take care of where you're going. The hyena laughs. I've got eyes in the back of my head, Zander. I'm fine. See? Watch this. Whoa! Redline moves directly into a rather burly kangaroo man who stands unmoved while Redline stumbles forward. I didn't bother telling him Bucky had been standing in our path for the last 20 seconds or so next to the open door of a gym room. Bucky smiles. All right there, Red. Need to watch where you're going, little man. Redline hammers a fist playfully at Bucky's chest. Sorry, Buck. There you go. The kangaroo's paw moved to ruffle Redline's hair, gently shoving him towards the open door to his left. Go get started on the jump ropes then, Red. They both laugh and Redline follows the momentum in the gym. Bucky turns back to me. And Zander, good to see you this morning. I nod. I take it you got the go-ahead from Drayden? Yep, he told me to be careful though. Makes sense, don't want to go breaking anything else. We'll take it easy today. Get in there and start warming up. I follow suit, moving through the door into the space. One half of the room is wide open, an empty space where people are standing around, stretching or talking. There's only a few people in there. That makes sense considering a lot of folks are probably off having breakfast. Along the back padded wall are a few bags of various shapes and sizes. Heavy bags, speed bags, all suspended off the ground by chains. At the end of the room is a large mat with a circle on it, clean and empty, waiting for fighters to use it. Seems smaller than the one used in official fights, but big enough to spar in. Of course, Redline is here too, twirling the jump rope up and down around his body, like he promised Bucky. A few people have gathered around him, chatting while they stretched. It seems so easy for people like him to just talk with others. I don't understand how he's so quick to make friends. Especially with the speed he's jumping rope. Most people would be too focused on their breathing, but he's pacing himself well, from what it looks like. I start my stretching as well, keeping to the corner to focus on myself. The right shoulder really needs this. I can feel my muscles releasing that tension it had been building up since the incident. Alright boys, let's get it going! Bucky claps his hands a few times and jogs into the space. Everyone stops talking and turns their attention to him. Redline is still jumping rope in place. Bucky slides up next to me, actually patting me semi-aggressively on the back. You'll see we got a new guy joining us. This is Zander, everyone. You want to introduce yourself? The eyes turn to me now. They're all staring. Hopefully excited. If not excited, they're at least expecting something. Redline looks excited, but that seems to be his default state. He's really whipping that rope around fast. Right, the introductions. Hi, I'm Zander. I've been fighting for a while now. What more am I supposed to say? That I got my arm broken by the biggest guy in the league? I'd rather not be what I'm known as here. And they probably already know all about that, so I can't really give them any new information. I guess Bucky can tell I'm floundering as he slaps on my back once again with an awkward chuckle. Let's give Zander a warm welcome today, alright? He's gonna be training with us from now on. I expect everyone to give him the same amount of respect that I gave you guys, alright? A number of guys nod at me, saying a few welcoming words. I see a few in the back whisper to each other, but I can't tell what they're saying. Bucky's hands set on my shoulder, patting it gently. You'll be working with me today. The rest of you start getting warmed up for light sparring. Redline starts to open his mouth. Red, you keep on that jump rope. Zander, come this way. Bucky moves towards the heavy bags lined against the wall, carrying a pair of training gloves in one hand. I follow suit. The rest of the guys have already got their hands wrapped on, spreading out across the gym to warm up as they chat amongst themselves. They're mostly around my size, but a few of them are a little bit bigger. I guess Bucky doesn't mind having some different weight classes here. A sharp whistle pierces my ears, calling my attention back to Bucky and the heavy bags he was stationed next to. He pats the bag and tosses me the gloves. You doing alright? You've had group classes, I'm sure. I nod, undoing the Velcro on the gloves. Yeah, for a while. You're cheap. Bucky chuckles at that. Smart. Coaches can be hit or miss. But you're here, so I assume that they did you well. It doesn't look like you brought hand wraps, but that's fine. I don't want you sparring just yet. I didn't think to bring my hand wraps or gloves down to the gym with me. It makes sense to bring them, I just forgot. Hand wraps are used to protect my knuckles, but I normally don't need that kind of protection when I'm training. I don't know what to expect down here just yet though, so maybe I should be bringing them just in case. If you didn't bring any to Fang, that's fine. I'm sure Red or someone has some that they can spare. Redline calls out from somewhere behind me now, still jumping rope. I've got a bunch that he can borrow! Focus on your breathing, Red! Double time! The whipping of the rope against the floor speeds up. Bucky looks back down at me. But, like I was saying, those gloves will do just fine. Bag, gloves, thinner and lighter than normal sparring gloves, so that I can practice striking faster. We're still getting your arm back up to speed, so I'll hold the bag for you. I just want a few 1-2 combos, alright? Take it slow. I nod and close my eyes. Slow breath in, slow breath out. My feet shift out, my left sliding forward to step with the heel angled out. My right slides back a bit, angling its toes out. I bend my knees ever so slightly, coming down as my weight presses down on my back foot. My hip twist is to the right, and my shoulders follow through, firing my left arm into the bag. It connects with a hiss, spraying through my gritted teeth. I force my hips back to the left as my right arm pistons forward. Another hiss forces its way out as the punch lands, and I've noticed my expression has changed, scrunching up my face as I force my aggression onto the bag. Bucky's been bracing himself against the bag, clutching it tight, but even he takes a step back as my punches land. Whoa now, easy Zander. I said take it slow. I snap my glare into his eyes. I'm not sure why. I don't want to intimidate him. He doesn't flinch though, just stares down with that same lax demeanor he's been carrying this whole time. Sorry. That was good though. You caught me off guard. But remember, we're warming you up. I know you want to fight, but you can't go messing up your arm again. Alright, take it easy this time. I nod and focus back on the bag. It's clearly weathered after taking so many punches over the years. Even then, it'll probably last longer down here than I will. That's a depressing thought, but it kind of pisses me off. I'm so fucking frustrated, I need to take it out on this, on something. Bucky's hand twitches and I see him still watching me patiently. Deep breath, Zander. Take it easy. Force all that anger down for now. My hips turn slow and my punch reaches out to the bag. The leathers collide and part gently. Good. I twist the opposite direction, my right reaching out in a similar fashion. There you go. All I want you to do is focus on your form right now, nice and slow. My punches, if I can call them that, continue in a similar fashion. Slow, gentle taps against the bag as my feet stay planted. This goes on for a while. The rest of the class continues their sparring, and the temperature in the room seems to rise. I almost ask if I can crack a window open, but that's not exactly an option down here. We continue for a while, and after Redline finishes his jumping rope, he joins us on the next bag over. Bucky moves away from me to inspect the other students, correcting their form and physique as they train. They're all moving so fast, swapping partners ever so often, laughing as they test each other's techniques. Doing alright, Zander? Red calls over from the other bag, leaning up against it. He's worked up quite the sweat, but that's to be expected from what he's done so far today. Yep, just... I throw another combo, slow like before, but with a little extra power behind it. That... I can't help but to speak flatly with him, at least for right now. Everyone else clearly has shown their prowess in the class. It feels like I'm taking remedial boxing for beginners, as if I haven't been doing this for over a decade now. I look like a fucking idiot. You're doing great! I look back up at Redline. It's probably hard without your full range of motion right now, but it's looking really solid. Keep up the good work. He claps me on the shoulder as he walks past, towards a few people behind me. Thanks. I don't know if he heard that or not. I guess it doesn't matter either way. Class continues like this for a while. The rest of the class moves on to heavier exercises while I change up the combos on my bag. Redline gets himself into more trouble, but watching him stay quiet and work twice as hard as the rest of us is therapeutic somehow. After a while, Bucky calls for the end of the class. Alright boys, good work today. Redline is still off to the side doing some punishment crunches. As you all know, we've got a rite of passage for when someone new joins our squad. The rest of the men turn to look at me. I think I can tell where this is going, and I move to the back a bit towards the center of the room. Bucky nods at me and smiles. Everyone gets a free body shot at the newbie. I roll my eyes and lift my arms. They did the same thing at my old gym. A number of guys line up in front of me. They're all wearing training gloves, but I don't really mind either way. After a bit of talking, the first one steps up. He reels back and I tense my abs. The blow makes contact, slamming against my body as I hiss out. It didn't really hurt as much as I thought it would, though there are a lot more to go to. He moves on and the next one steps up, taking a second to aim his shot. Another thump, another hiss, and he moves on. Conditioning is important, especially when it comes to taking punches. This also makes for a good ab exercise, so I can't really complain. The line shortens with each punch, forcing a well-timed hiss out of my mouth. It's good to spit some air out when I get hit, at least when I can predict it, as it makes my body tense up. That can make it easier to take a hit. A few more passes though, and the punches finally start to sting. My abs would be a nice shade of red if anyone could see under my shirt. Only one left to go. Redline moseys up to me. He's absolutely drenched in sweat and his mouth is slightly open, with his tongue hanging out. You alright, Zander? Even his voice sounds exhausted. I suppose that's a given, seeing how hard Bucky's worked him today. He still sounds excited though, but that'll probably never really go away. My arms are still up above my head. My body tenses up in anticipation for the strike. A bit of sweat drips off my elbows onto the floor. Redline wastes no time shifting into a stance, and in the blink of an eye, his fist finds its mark in the center of my body. Yes! With a heavy thump, I stagger back. My legs quiver before I drop to one knee. The pain resonates up to my body, stinging and burning at the center even after his glove departs. Oxygen strains itself through my gritted teeth as I try to drag it back into my control. Redline drops down as soon as I had, tossing his glove aside to put a hand on my shoulder. Shit, are you okay? My eyes meet his, along with a few of the other guys who had already had their shot. A few are laughing either amongst themselves or at me. I can feel my face go hot. First, Bruce embarrasses me in front of everyone twice, and now Redline's dropped me in my first class. This is so fucking humiliating. Get off! I shove his hand away from my shoulder, forcing myself upright and backwards. The room goes quiet. All eyes are on me and Redline for a moment. I'm already sweating from the training, but the pressure's got me sweating cold now. Bucky claps his hands together, forcing attention back to him. Alright, great stuff guys. Go hit the showers. That seems to have fixed it. The men go back to chatting amongst themselves, unstrapping their gloves, moving towards the door. Make sure you got time on the treadmills sometimes before tomorrow. He tries to yell over the sound of them talking, but no one seems to respond to it. I march towards the door, with the sting from the blow still burning in my stomach. Zander, wait! I try to ignore his call, but Bucky sticks an arm out as I pass by him. Hold up, bud. Need my gloves back. I have a bit of air out. My eyes refuse to connect with his as I tear the gloves off and present them. You alright there, Zander? His arm still extended moves to prevent me from my attempt to slide past him. I'm fine. You're not, but you don't have to talk about it now if you don't want to. Go cool down. We can talk some other time. I can't help but exhale a sigh before nodding. Fine. Bucky's arm rises like a barrier gate, and I hurry out of the gym. Since the day I got here, it's been humility and pity day after day, and I'm getting fucking sick of it. Bruce had already made me look stupid twice. And now I had the chance to meet new people, but Redline had to go and fuck that up too. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. My path back to the stairwell is cut off by a crowd of people headed to the cafeteria. I really can't be bothered to fight my way through that. My only other option is to turn around to use the stairwell at the end of the hall. That one at least gives me easy access to my room. I thought I could handle that stupid punching tradition well enough. I did at my last gym. I'm not sure why these guys are any different. Well, these are professional fighters. It makes sense that they'd be stronger than the guys I'm used to. And why the hell did Redline have so much power? I didn't think I was too tired to take that, but it still stings. I can't seem to get a win anywhere. It's like this place is out to get me. And now I look like an idiot for leaving the gym in such a rush. I can still feel sweat dripping down off my chin. Have I been leaving a trail down the hallway this whole time? Probably not uncommon down here, but still gross. Passing by the gym, I can't see Redline, but that's for the best. I don't want to see him right now. The rest of the hallway is pretty quiet on the way to the stairwell. Everyone's off to lunch, so I've got some time to change of clothes and shower. The closing of the heavy metal door's latch echoes up through the space. It's cold. And quiet. The chatter from down the hall is completely silenced behind this door. That silence is quickly broken, though. A breathy sigh comes from somewhere above me. My ears flick to aim towards it. Whoever gave that sigh starts moving on the staircase. I wait a moment to see if I can determine if they're coming towards me. It's quiet enough to hear a pin drop, or at least enough to hear the sound of my sweat dripping onto the cement floor. It draws my attention for a second. Gross. I guess they're going further away. How far up does this go? I move up the stairwell, keeping my ears out for anyone back there. Looking up, I can see the end of the staircase, not that it's very well lit here regardless. I get to the second floor of the stairwell and open the door. Finally away from the rest of the people, I take some time to get a fresh change of clothes from my room and head to the showers. Halfway down the second floor hallway, there's a massive communal shower room opposite from the bathrooms. There's 4 rows of showers, each barriered on either side with a brick wall. Near one wall is a bunch of hooks and benches for people to keep their clothes while they wash up. This place is normally packed, even with the second shower room down on the opposite end of the hall. It's not too bad now that there's no one around, though. These guys can be really annoying, even when people are just trying to wash up. I'll have to come back more often when it's less crowded. I toss my clothes on the bench and carry my all-in-one body wash into the nearest stall. A crack of the faucet knob and a gush of cold water fires from the shower head. I manage to avoid the initial spray, though, and I can feel its chill from stray droplets against my fur. I turn the hot water knob as high as it will go, but the temperature doesn't increase much, even after a few minutes. I guess hot water's all used up. I sigh and step into the frigid spray, immediately tensing up as the water strikes my spine. My breathing stutters and my muscles convulse for a second as they're exposed. But after a few seconds, my body loosens up. I can breathe slowly and smoothly now. My body wash lathers up nicely. It smells kind of minty too. The bottle calls it charcoal chill. Guess that explains the black coloring. Not sure what that has to do with mint. Someone enters the shower room. Zander? Christ, I really don't want to talk right now. I sigh. What? Redline moves in front of my shower stall. Are you okay? I can't help but look at him. He has no problem staring at my naked body. Here I am, fully naked, half covered in suds, and he's able to casually stroll in and talk with me. I gesture to my body. He seems to get the picture. Oh, right, sorry, He moves to the other side of the wall. Are you okay? I'm fine. The cold water rinses some soap off my fur. Did I do something wrong in class? I'm fine, Redline. I thought I hurt you or something. Did I embarrass you? I didn't mean... I'm fine, Redline. I don't really like raising my voice, but he doesn't seem to understand. I want to be alone right now. He's quiet for a second. Well, if you say so. There's another pause. I'm gonna go grab lunch. I'll save you a seat, okay? He waits for a few more seconds for a response. I'm debating not giving one. Okay. Thanks. For sure, man. Redline leaves, leaving me alone with my thoughts. And this fucking freezing water. I squirt a bit more soap onto my hand and run it through my hair, scrubbing it over my scalp and around my base of my antlers. They're already growing in a bit. I don't want to get them trimmed until I absolutely have to. At least Redline's not here to deal with my shitty attitude. I feel like such an ass. I was an ass. Redline didn't mean to embarrass me. I just wasn't expecting it. He even tried to apologize and I shut him down. I should probably apologize. The churning in my stomach at that thought of that makes me think it won't be too easy to do. I'll see how he's feeling at lunch. The rest of the suds rinse out of my hair, and after scrubbing down the rest of my body, I turn off the shower. It's a lot warmer in my towel than in the stall. Part of me misses my hairdryer at my old place, as shitty as it was. Whatever. Dried off, fresh clothes, with the old clothes tossed haphazardly onto my bed. Redline's gym clothes are strewn onto his bed, too. I guess he's still at lunch. I should probably make my way down. It's a lot chattier than normal. I guess I've never been here while it's this full. Redline's at the table he usually sits at, but there's a bunch of other guys seated around him. He flags me down, smiling as big as ever as he motions to an empty seat next to him. Yo, Zander! He nearly has to yell over the chatter in the room. I drop down into the seat with my tray of food. The rest of the men around are still in their own conversations. Zander, meet my buds. This is Iggy, Jay, Ollie. He rattles off a bunch of names as he gestures to each of them. Some of them nod back in between bites of food, and the others are still wrapped in their conversations. I recognize a few of them from the class earlier, actually. I think we're missing a few. Rick and Gabe are on vacation, right? Yeah, they saved enough time to hit the surface for a few weeks. Redline nods. Good for them, honestly. They were looking pretty run down, especially after Gabe tore his ACL. The badger that piped up nods. Kinda crowded today, huh? Hmm? Oh yeah, I guess so. Doesn't surprise me though. I guess we did come down at peak lunch hours. My nerves go a little numb, but I take an awkward breath and look at Redline. Hey, listen, Redline. The speakers from the ceilings, I assume, play a bit of feedback as someone taps a microphone. Redline's ears shoot up. Testing, testing. A bit of cheer erupts from around the cafeteria. I can't seem to pick out the source of the voice, but everyone seems to turn to the center of the space, at the top of the main staircase. Theodore, the nervous rabbit that visited me in the med base, stands with a microphone in his hands. Good afternoon, everyone. The voice of the crowd almost drowns out Theodore over the loudspeakers. I turn to Redline. What's going on? I have to yell over the noise. Redline just beams back. Oh, right, this is your first time, huh? His tail starts sweeping back and forth. It's matchmaking day, dude! As you all know, it's that time of the month. The timid little thing raises a shaky hand, holding an envelope. He tries to open it with one hand. It's kinda awkward, but he manages. I'm sure that you're all just as excited as I am to know what this month's fights are going to be. You sound excited! Someone yells over the crowd, which had managed to die down a bit in anticipation, but immediately roars back up. The rabbit's ears twitch and his face goes black as he tries to hurriedly read through the list. This Friday, that's in 2 days, first up, in the lightweight division would be Maddie. As Theodore reads off the name, a cheer erupts from one end of the cafeteria as a lean monkey rises from his seat. And he's up against Mickey. Mickey's name causes the men around me to cause an uproar as well. A Lynx fellow seated across from me stands up as the rest of the table applauds. Redline's friends start pounding the table as Mickey makes his way up to Theodore, where Matthew is already standing. The two stare at each other down for a few seconds as the crowd cheers before shaking hands and making their way back to their seats. Mickey's welcomed back to the table with a bunch of congratulations and pats on the back, while Theodore rattles off another name, followed by more cheering. Redline finishes chatting with Mickey, then turns to me. Yeah, so basically once a month, Teddy goes up and lists off all the fights for the next month. That's not a lot of prep time to get ready for a fight. Redline shrugs. Since we basically spent all our time down here training, we shouldn't need much time to do a fight camp or anything like that. He flexes a bicep, patting it tenderly. These bad boys are ready to go whenever they want to give me someone. We're just waiting to see if someone as short as you exists. His friends chime up and Redline laughs, jabbing him in the shoulder. Hey now, Zander's right here. I can feel my face get hot. I'm not that much shorter than him. Theodore's been talking a bit now, but the crowd's noise seems to die down after the previous fighters return to their seats. He clears his throat and tugs at his shirt collar. And, the moment you've all been waiting for. We've got a special upcoming championship fight in the heavyweight division at the end of the month. Another cheer from the crowd with chants for Bruce, Bruce, Bruce pulsing through the man. The reigning champion Bruce will be facing off against the challenger, Alex. Hearing that name sends a shiver down my skin. The crowd kind of goes quiet, almost confused as to look for whoever has that name. I push myself to my feet. A few heads swivel to look at me. I move through the crowd towards Theodore. What was once cheering and laughing has turned into an uncomfortable whisper as people are surely asking each other too many questions. I climb the stairs to where Theodore is standing. He looks like he doesn't want to be here either. Bruce isn't here. He should be easy to pick out of the crowd, but he's nowhere to be seen. As soon as I reach the top step, one voice rings out from across the cafeteria. Let's fucking go, Zander! Woo! Everyone turns to the source, and after a second, all of Redline's friends start clapping as well, albeit a bit hesitantly. The rest of the crowd dissolves into idle chatter, confused applause, or laughter. It takes a lot of control to keep my ears from folding down, but I know that would only make them laugh more. Alex, I clear my throat. Theodore, is there any way that I could talk with the commissioner? His ears twitch and he looks away. I'm afraid that once the match is made, it cannot be undone. You will have to wait until after the fight is over. But Theodore bows awkwardly and hops down the steps before I can say another word. A few men harass him as he nearly runs for the exit. He's especially fast for someone so frail looking. Maybe that's why he's so fast in the first place. The cafeteria has gone back to its usual chatter and I slog my way back to my seat at the table. Redline's got most of them entranced in a conversation, but when I get close enough, he motions me closer. You want to tell these guys what's up? Not really. Redline's ears lower at that, but he turns back to his friends. Zander is in some weird fucked up contract, and he has to keep fighting Bruce. He hasn't really told me the details. The rest of them echo each other's confusion. A few more are badgering me with questions. I just want to eat my food, but they probably won't stop without an answer. I might as well get it over with. That's really all there is to it, honestly. The matchmaking system fucked up, and I can't get in touch with the commissioner or change it yet. That seems to send a nervous shockwave through the group as they ease back into their seats. Redline chimes in. Ah, shit, really? That's not great. Not great? Nah. The commissioner, he's... For the first time, they're all sort of quiet. Don't fuck with the commissioner, man. One of his friends speaks up and the rest echo agreement. Yeah, I mean, they don't really know much about him, but there's a reason that no one really talks to him. And that is... Redline swallows a bit of food and thinks. I mean, he's, like, our boss? Like, we don't really need to question it. We just do our job. But this feels like a special case where that might be a risk worth taking. I don't know. Or you can just fight Bruce. Your call. The rest of the group laughs at that, but my heart only sinks into my stomach. I'm not really hungry anymore. So that's where I'm going to leave it for today. So obviously our little Zander here has to, work through some stuff still. Thankfully the coach seems to be competent. He's not taking this lightly. Obviously he knows that Zander has he has a hard time ahead of him. Redline, he doesn't know how to read a room, I guess. Or I guess he just expected Zander to be sort of not prepared, but I guess sort of like his friends, but I guess you know, you shouldn't expect that. Obviously, he doesn't realize that Xander has a lot going on, and that he probably doesn't want to be dealing with his, over exuberant attitude, but hopefully he'll get the message soon enough, at least for his own sake. So, what do you guys think? Do you like what's, there so far? Obviously, there's a little bit more right now. Do you think Xander's gonna be able to at least put up a fight in the next fight, or he's just gonna get his ass whooped again? You know, write it down in the comments. And I guess that's it, and thank you all for watching/listening. If you'd like to play Undefeated yourself, you can find it over on itch, and I will post a link down for the Undefeated visual novel official Twitter page, which, will have a direct link to the itch page. And if they have any sort of, Patreon or coffee or something, then I will also post a link down for that. And I guess that's it for now, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.